Hello and welcome to this edition of You Can Get There From Here. I'm Dr. Joe Moore, Chair of the Department of Communication and Digital Media Production at the University of Central Missouri, and it's my pleasure every week to get to sit down and visit with some of our alumni. We talk to those who graduated in communication studies, some who got their degree in digital media production, and others who got their master's degree. Today we're welcoming Camille Wilson to the show. Camille is a 2018 graduate of the Communication Studies program. She emphasized consultancy and social influence in media. She also minored in public relations and business administration. And today she is a communications operations specialist with the U.S. Department of Defense. That was a mouthful, Camille. How are you doing? Good to have you with us today.
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you for being on the show. You're out there in Washington, D.C. We were talking before we came on. As we record this, it's 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 your time. So your workday hopefully is done, right?
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, let's start with a little history. Where are you from? What do you call hometown? What led you to UCM, and what made you want to study communication studies?
So I am from St. Louis, Missouri. That's my hometown, born and raised there. What ended up leading me to UCM was my dad actually went to UCM. So that was his alma mater. And I remember when I was in high school and I was looking for schools to go to, my dad was like, "You should go to my school." And
Dads are good about that.
So I was like, I don't want to go to the same school you went to. But then I ended up visiting UCM and I fell in love with the school, and I loved that it was a small school. You could get more one-on-one interaction with professors. You weren't just a number. And that kind of really resonated with me. And then I know back then you all had like a choose red theme, and that happens to be my favorite color too. So
It worked
so
out
that was
nicely.
one of the things. Yeah. So that was one of the things that led me to UCM. Now, as far as my major, this is actually kind of an interesting story. So I was on the phone with the recruiter when we were getting me signed up, and I didn't really know what I wanted to major in. So I remember telling her, I like to talk and I like to write. And so she's like, "Oh, comms." So that's how I landed on a communications degree. And it was actually perfect. I don't know how it just, I never changed my major the entire time I was enrolled. I really enjoyed the program, and it was a perfect fit for me.
Well, we're glad that you found it. We're glad that you were a part of it. But, the thing is, if you like to speak and you like to write, yeah, communication is the route to go. You can do anything with the degree. Tell us about some of the things that you did when you were in college. Maybe some of the classes that really stuck out for you. Maybe some of the activities you were involved in. What helped you build your skills?
Yeah, so one of the classes, and it's actually I think it was intro to comms. It was the public speaking class. That was one of my favorite classes that I took. And I use those skill sets. I know we're gonna get into that later, every single day. And then I ended up taking, I can't remember the name of the course, but it was like a more advanced version of public speaking with Terry Kunkanen. I don't know if he's still there, but
You still here?
yeah,
You still
yeah.
here?
So, yeah, I took those two courses, and those were some that I just absolutely loved. I loved getting in front of a group of people, talking about this is outlining exactly what I'm going to talk about, and just really having that opportunity to command a room and just fine tune those skills. Before I came to UCM, I was in debate and public speaking, so that was just kind of right up my alley. So,
Well,
yeah.
and you went right from here, and this
Mhm.
this amazed me as I was reading your bio and I went to your LinkedIn page to learn a little bit more about you. You
Mhm.
graduated in spring of 2018,
Well,
and
fall,
in
yeah.
June, was it the fall?
It was fall, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, then right shortly after that, you're with the U.S. Department of Defense. I mean, that's a leap. Tell us about that. What was that like?
So there's a little backstory to that. So when I was enrolled in the program, we were required to have an internship. And so my first, like I say, my first part of senior year, because I had that extra semester, I, like a lot of students, probably was just like, I just want to find an internship. I'm just going to sign up for anything just so I can get the check mark on my transcript and move on. And I signed up for this internship, and it was just, and I went to the first day and I realized that, this isn't exactly a good fit for me. And I really wanted to do something that I found interesting. So I actually ended up, going to Terry at the time and telling him, hey, I'm gonna, I know this is gonna extend my graduation, but I'm gonna try to see if I can find an internship that I actually find interesting. So, I did the research and I went on Google and I looked up federal government internships because I wanted to work for the federal government. And my my agency was the second hit up under FBI. So I applied and yeah, I got contacted, went through the onboarding process, and I ended up doing my internship that following summer. And so killed it and got a job offer while I was in school. So that last semester was very hard.
That's always one of those things that, because I was trying to do the math whenever you said you graduated in the fall of 2018 and you started the job in June 2018. So
Yes.
so you did the internship, you got the job, and you were doing the job while you were finishing up school, yeah?
Yes.
Whew.
Well,
Okay.
they allowed me to flex my schedule because they knew that I was trying to finish up school. But yeah, I was officially on board that summer. So yeah.
That's amazing. So tell us, what do you do today? What all is involved in your job?
Yeah, so I work for the Department of Defense, and I oversee a team of about 10 people, and we plan VIP engagements. That involves from start to finish working with VIPs. So VIPs might be the Secretary of Defense, it might be the Deputy Secretary of Defense, it might be the Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. We work with them. We make sure the entire engagement is ran smoothly from start to finish. We brief or do presentations for our director, the deputy director, chief of staff. So that's where the public speaking part kicks in. My team, in addition to planning engagements, we also we host a mastermind and distinguished speaker series for our workforce, and so that's when we bring in other VIPs. We just had Montel Williams in, and so I was fortunate to MC that one. So it was great, and we had that displayed to over 16,000 people. So I mean, distributed out to over 16,000 people. So it was awesome.
That's amazing. And I have to ask, so you work for the U.S. government.
Yes.
You've worked for two administrations, three administrations, one, then another, then back to the one. Um, I've got to believe that in the role that you have to kind of keep politics out of it, but you're working with the federal government.
Mhm.
Is it difficult to do that? And, one of the things we talk about in our communication program is conflict resolution and conflict management. Is it
Mhm.
difficult to keep the politics out? And if so, and if it does leak in, how do you manage it?
Yeah, so we're bipartisan, right? But regardless, the policies and things that come through obviously do impact us. And I think the biggest thing that we focus on is just what our mission is, protecting our loved ones here in the US. And so we keep that at the forefront of everything that we're doing. And that's how we get through.
So just keeping that focus, and we appreciate that focus. I like to keep my family safe. So thank you
Yeah.
for all you're doing there. Well, one of the things that you mentioned when I asked you to be on the show, you
Mhm.
said that when you went for your interview, it was your presentation that really sealed the deal that got you the job. I think anybody here at UCM would have seen that coming because you were the keynote speaker at the 2018 Communication Studies Showcase. And I did find the link. It's on YouTube. I will put that in the comments section if anybody wants to go back and watch that. But what was it? You said you've always been a public speaker. You did public speaking and speech and debate in high school. You went through a communication studies program because of the presentations and such. What was it really in the program, though? Was it the repetition? Was it specific skills you got? Was it working with others? What was it that really helped solidify your presentation skills?
I really do believe it was really the repetition, the pointers, because I feel like even if you have a natural knack for, public speaking, you can always fine tune those skills. So, being able to come into a room, be confident, I remember our public speaking skills, we went over, I mean, our public speaking class, we went over, things that kind of just show that, you are confident in how to establish, that connection with your audience. Those things were critical, especially in my interview, just being able to do that. It was a panel interview, so that can be kind of scary sometimes.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
yeah. So just being able to come in and really be clear and concise with what I'm saying was crucial to landing the job and also just every single day. I talked about how we have all these different types of things where we have to get in front of people, and those things are important. So
Do you remember who your public speaking teacher was?
I do not. I know Terry was actually for like the more advanced course, but I do not remember who my first one was.
You might have had one of our graduate assistants when they were coming through.
I think I did. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was 2014. So that was a
Yeah,
while.
and they do a great job. They're graduate students who they're going to teach that one class, and you're never going to have
Mhm.
them again. So it's sometimes you forget who that was because you don't have
Yeah.
another class anymore. So, but they did a great job because they got you well prepared. So, and that speaks to the quality of our graduate assistants. They do a super job as teaching assistants. So, good on them. Well, you didn't stop there though. Last October, you got your MBA. Tell us about that, and tell us how the program helped the UCM Com Studies program helped you prepare for that MBA.
Yes. So I was in an online program for my MBA, and it was kind of like at your own pace. So one of the things that I was able to really fly through was the communications course. So I was able to fly through that. I actually won an excellence award from my university on my communications class and my paper that I wrote, and then I also for my actual capstone like thesis type of thing that I did, I won an award for that as well from the
Oh,
university. So
congratulations. Way to
new skill.
represent.
Yes. So, and they went over some communication theories. And so I had to write a paper and do a simulation. And all of those things definitely came into play. So,
Nice, nice
mhm.
job representing. You got some good practice in there. Well done. What's next for Camille Wilson?
Oh, I was just thinking about that today. So I definitely want to continue climbing the ladder in the government. I've climbed up pretty quickly, but there's still room to grow. And so I'm looking at right now. I'm working in our corporate communications office, but I kind of want to branch out and try something different. Still probably doing comms in some way, shape, or form, but maybe going over to our IT, but maybe doing comms in that area because that's not something that I've done before. Maybe even actually like working directly in the Pentagon would be an interesting experience. So,
Yeah, I would say that'd be pretty neat to be able to be in
yeah.
the Pentagon, be there where it's all happening and everything.
Yes.
Well, that's going to lead into my next question then, because the university slogan is redefining what's possible. So there's all kinds of possibilities out there for Camille Wilson. What
Mhm.
does redefining what's possible mean to you?
Oh, yeah, this is a good one. So I would say redefining what's possible for me is always doing the uncomfortable thing, right? Stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'll kind of relate it back to what I talked about a little bit earlier when I, just originally chose an internship because it was within my comfort zone. Oh, this is easy. I can just, check it off. But by redefining what's possible, I was able to step outside of my comfort zone and say, you know what, I'm going to try something, just throw my name out there, apply to something that I didn't know if I would be able to actually get in the door or didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but it completely changed the course of my life. And it allowed me, not allowed, it propelled me into a totally different direction. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I did that. So, yeah.
That's amazing. That it takes courage. If you're going to step out like that, it's going to take some courage. And one of the things we talk about all the time is don't be afraid to fail.
Mhm.
Learn from it, grow from it. But if you play it safe every time, you're never going to really see what you're capable of. And you have definitely done that. So before I let you go, I have two final questions for you. It's really one, but it's two parts. You've done some great things. You had a wonderful experience here while you were studying communication studies. We're so happy to be a part of that. But now we have students in communication studies today that would love to hear from you. What's a piece of advice that you would give them as they're going through the program and as they're preparing to step out and see what's possible? And then what's a piece of advice you would give to a student who's thinking about coming to the University of Central Missouri to study communication?
Um, a piece of advice that I would give for folks that are there currently is, oh, you got me here. So can I give two things?
Sure.
Okay. So the first thing I would say, especially if you're a freshman, the biggest thing when it comes to college and in general is that time management. It can be very difficult when you have multiple assignments due and you have readings due the next day. So I would say, time management is crucial. And then the other thing that I would say to them is you have to believe in yourself
Yeah,
first and foremost.
that's big.
When you start believing in you, that's when you're going to see things really take off for yourself. So that's, to me, is just so important. It sounds very cliche, but it's true, and it's why I am where I am today. So I had to take a risk on myself, believe in me, and here I am.
Yeah, bet on
And then,
yourself. If you don't, who is going to?
yes, no one else is going to look out for you better than you're going to look out for yourself.
Yep.
So, um, and then I would say for folks that are considering going to, or am I looking at considering going to UCM or
Yep.
folks
Yep.
that, okay.
Yep.
So for folks that are considering going to UCM, I highly, highly recommend going to UCM. I mentioned a little bit earlier in the podcast, that one-on-one attention with professors is, I feel like, crucial. It was extremely helpful. There were times where I did go to the professor and say, hey, I'm not understanding something. Or even towards the end, I actually felt overwhelmed. When all of those things were happening for me while I was getting ready to graduate, I was terrified.
You think?
I was like, I'm about to move to a whole new city. I don't know anyone. So just being able to have that rapport with your professors is so crucial. And I definitely wouldn't overlook that, especially when you're looking at possibly going to some of the larger schools. Don't overlook these small schools, because you go to these small schools, I am in the same room as the folks who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt.
Yeah, I like
Yes.
that. That's important to
Yes.
remember. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Camille, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for all you're doing for our great nation. Keep up the good work. Keep communicating. Keep growing, and keep us in mind. Keep us posted on your development and where you're going from here.
I will. Thank
All
you so
right.
much for having me.
Thank you. We're proud of you. Keep it up.
Thank you.
And thanks all of you for tuning in today. Remember, you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel through the UCM Media Network. That's youtube.com/UCMMN. You can also listen on Spotify. Special thanks to Jake Mager, as always, for doing our theme music for us. This is Dr. Joe Moore reminding you, you can get there from here. Have a great day.